dos, tres, cuatro. ¡Vamos! El guapo. DJ La Top. DJ W Plus. Jouez! Allô W Plus. Volvemos. Volvemos. Oui. Oscarito, la guitarra, por favor. ¡Jouez! Suavemente. Suavemente. Et puis DJ La Top. Jouez! Oui! ¡Qué calor! ¡Vamos! Et puis La Top. DJ! Posez, posez. Cisez, cisez. La Top. Suavemente. ¡Qué calor! ¡Qué calor! Aquí, quite el maché. J'adore ça. Tête sous tête, corps sous corps. Allô DJ La Top. DJ W Plus.
I can see we are very few. Just mention your name as we go. Just your name and maybe anything you want to say, but at least start with your name. And if you are here for the very first time or you've been here before, your name, if you've been here before or you are here for the first 30 minutes.
here to learn more.
Mais oui,
Ça c'est compas paradise. Ça c'est compas paradise. Ça c'est compas paradise. Si tu kiffes la vibe, on s'ambiance toute la night. Ça c'est compas paradise. Ça c'est compas paradise. Ça c'est compas paradise. Si tu kiffes la vibe, on s'ambiance toute la night.
Then the next one.
Balola.
Loketo, Loketo, allez, bouge tes reins, bouge tes reins.
Attends, stop.
Move your body. Every tiggy. Toi, magique compas. Déposé. DJ West. Mais bon, va.
Okay, I'm getting back to you. Okay, let me pick a gent. New. Where are the new people? Okay, here. What's your expectation for today?
I'm just curious and I'm very ready to learn, and I'm curious and I'm ready to learn new things, yeah, and get to interact and to know new people. Yeah.
Yeah, he's here to learn, interact, meet new people. Here. What's your expectation today?
So my expectation since friends zangu ni show inakwanga poa, so I just expect a positive vote. Yeah.
Okay. A positive? He didn't even finish, but he's very positive. Otherwise, thank you so much, guys. I don't know if the speaker is okay. Okay. Okay, so I wanted us to at least occupy these so that those who are coming at least baadaye, they can get Evo. So if you can sit kwa kiti kombele yako as we move. Okay, you've not introduced yourself. Just introduce yourself, what's your expectation, and have you been here before?
My name is Deborah Chepkeboy, a student, and I've been here before.
Your expectations for today? You don't have expectations? Guys, people don't even have expectations. You don't have any expectation for today? Okay. What's your expectation for today?
Learn something new that I knew yesterday, especially on the blockchain.
That's amazing. So for those who have been here before, anything you've ever learned since you came to Blockchain Center here? You are new, right? You've been here since the time, right? Anything you've ever learned, anything? Blockchain or not, anything?
Yeah, I was a noob in blockchain, so when I started coming to this meetup, at least I get to understand the Cardano ecosystem and how the blockchain works. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. I hope we were listening. Anybody who can repeat what he said in your own words, just to test if you are listening. Even your neighbor cannot. Anyway, that's amazing. You've been here before, right? Anything you've ever learned from from Blockchain Center when you come here at Blockchain Center? Can you share with us?
I've learned a lot of things.
Yeah, so just share. You can share some of them.
About Cardano, or just generally.
Anything you've ever learned. But you can use the mic so we can hear you.
It's a cool place.
It's a what?
It's a cool place. I enjoy it.
Anything you've learned about blockchain?
About blockchain, especially about Cardano. I learned about smart contracts. Yeah, and developing it too. Developing in Cardano. Since I code with Python, I learned now like I can be able to use Python in Cardano. They pay Cardano.
Okay, that's amazing. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's welcome Darlington. He's going to speak to us.
Why are we clapping? Clap for yourselves, I guess, for being here. I'm so glad we're able to do the meetups again. We had to pause for one or two things, but we're back monthly. I don't know how I'm going to do this. We need to invest in a clicker. So I'm just going to do some announcements, just catch you up with what's been happening in Cardano since we went on our little vacation, and then give you a chance to ask question. Then I will give it to the actually smart guy. Where is he? Where is Titi? Oh, he's hiding. Sound. Who here are developers, dev, or you're developing with Vibe? Are you old school developer or a vibe coder? All of the above. Really? We only have 2 developers. Yes, who vibe coders? Yeah, maybe. Let's pick on these guys back here. Why are you hiding? What do you do?
Okay, I'm aspiring to be a developer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, let me ask that. So now we have about 4 developers. Who are the aspiring developers? Okay. What do you do?
I'm a developer.
Why do you raise your hand?
I raise my hand.
Okay. Eddie, what do you do?
Just aspiring to be one.
Aspiring. Okay. Okay, this time, please raise your hand. Who is not a developer and not aspiring to be one? You're just living. So everybody is a developer. What do you do, sir? Say your name again. What do you do?
I do aspire.
Very nice. Okay, good. TT will be going over some resources for if you are an aspiring developer. So I'm just going to update you on some things that's been happening. You can save this and save the QR code for checking it out later. And some of these we will come back to towards the end of the evening. Who knows what intersect is? Let me say, who does not know what intersect is? So if you don't raise your hand, I'm coming to you to tell me what it is. So who does not know what intersect is? Okay, good. So the rest of you know. You can tell us, Sa. How you doing? Say your name and tell us what intersect is.
I was just checking the meaning of intersect. Okay. Intersect is to cross or to meet or to overlap.
Oh, wow. Okay. Let me rephrase the question. This mic is not working. Please fix it. Who does not know what intersect in Cardano is? Cardano's intersect. Okay. You want to help explain to people what intersect is? Say your name also.
My name is Eden. Maybe I can just touch on it. I think Intersect is one of the organizations managing Cardano, maybe. But the main things they do, they manage the Cardano ecosystem, the community, the budgets, the developers. Yeah.
Who has been in a different or participated in a different blockchain community besides Cardano? Yes. Yes, start back there, come up. Which one?
Chainlink.
Huh?
Chainlink.
Chainlink. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. And you? Which blockchain? Bitcoin. Actually, those are two good ones. So stay there, Leonard. In Chainlink, if you want to maybe add some new feature to the chain, like you personally, maybe you have an idea, you want to add it to Chainlink. How do you go about it? Yes, add a feature to Chainlink. How do you do it? If you want to participate at that level and you want to add something, what's the steps? Okay. So you don't know. Okay. What about in Bitcoin? How do people do it? If you want to maybe change or make a proposal to change the block size for Bitcoin, or like change something small, I don't know, or change the way Bitcoin store data on the disk. Anything, any change you want to make to Bitcoin, what's the process to make that change? To contribute to what? But what if you want to change it? What do you do? Like, what do people do? Because Bitcoin does change from time to time, you know? So how does that happen? In terms of how Bitcoin works. Isn't that crazy? I know. It's like most blockchains does not have an organized way. You have to like work at the company that created the blockchain, or in the case of Bitcoin, you have to be one of the 8 core developers that has all the power and ability to change Bitcoin. Intersect is a members-based organization that anybody can join, and then through Intersect, you're able to actually change Cardano. It's a way to allow regular people to propose changes to Cardano, or at least have an impact on changes that happens in Cardano. So most parts of Cardano, everything from the consensus to the way the stake pool runs to the staking rewards, all of those things, they have what they call working groups. And those working groups are responsible for the actual Cardano code, some of them. So and these people, they have committees and then working groups. So when you join Intersect, you can join one of these committees or working group, and now you can have an impact on how Cardano actually functions and actually works. Intersect also helps with like other things besides Cardano itself. So things around Cardano, if you're building a dApp, or if you want to build a dApp, different ecosystem, bits of Cardano, Intersect is a way to actually go and have your voice heard. If you find that Cardano isn't working a certain way, or if you have an idea. So that's Intersect. You join it. There's a free membership. There's a paid membership. The big difference between the free and the pay, when you pay for the membership, it is 10 USD a year. TT? Is it $10 a year? Yeah. It's $10 for the whole year. And with that, you actually get, especially if you have a business or if you are like a developer or something, sometimes they have grants that you can apply for to implement something. And then also the membership allows you to vote on different parts of Intersect and sometimes things that affect Cardano as well. And then one of the things Intersect does, while I'm talking about them, Intersect right now manages the Cardano budget process. Now, I know Chainlink has a foundation and that gives a grant, right? Bitcoin doesn't, because nobody knows who owns Bitcoin. So usually companies just decide to contribute if they want to, but Bitcoin does not have its own grant program. But Chainlink does. Let's pick on someone else. Who's in a different community besides Chainlink or Bitcoin? Or who's been part of a different blockchain community besides Chainlink? Solana, Ethereum, Avalanche. Cardano is your first blockchain. No way. Okay, yes. Say your name. Kelly, what do you do in this world? What's wrong with the mic? Software developer, nice. What other blockchain community have you been part of? Ooh, Avalanche. Yes. Is that one working? Not yet. Does Avalanche has a how do I say it? Does Avalanche have how does Avalanche pay for things? Do you know?
Pay for things in what?
Like future development of Avalanche, the developers, who pays the salary, those kinds of things.
So there's a community, so they have different programs that give grants.
Okay. Where does the money come from? Do you know? You can say I don't know if you don't know.
Okay. I guess they have a community.
Well, the money has to come from somewhere. Like, we're a community, but I don't see any money here.
They support projects built on Avalanche games, build games, for example.
Who's they? Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot. Hedin told you it was going to be interactive. Anybody else wants to contribute to this conversation about a blockchain you know about? Who says Sui? Yes, let's hear how Sui does the thing.
Yes, I think there's different, the way Sui and Cardano do their own consensus, and I think it's almost the same, only that Sui has a foundation and there's no intersect in Sui. Mostly the Sui foundation usually determines the people who will receive the grants as well as the projects which will support. But as for Cardano, Intersect is community based. We've tackled Intersect last year and I've been very much interested in Intersect as well. Also during the Cardano African
Tech Summit.
Yes, and they did a very good presentation, and I'm glad we are also building on Intersect going forward as well.
Very, very nice. Thank you. Yes, I know this is a Cardano meetup, but we are not crazy people that only talks about Cardano. We want to learn from other blockchains, how things do things, compare and contrast, so you can make a good decision on which specific area you're going to invest your time, because your time is valuable. So something that's unique to Cardano, one, Cardano is set up so that every transaction that you do, there is a 30% tax that's taken from the transaction and it is put into a treasury. By the way, on Ethereum, there's also a tax. I'm not sure if it's 30%. I think it fluctuates. But Ethereum burns that money for some reason. Like it literally burns it. But Cardano, probably because Ethereum do not have a fixed supply and Cardano does, but that 30% goes into a treasury, and that treasury is meant for Cardano to pay it for itself. That treasury is meant for Cardano to pay for future development, marketing, education. In fact, the food and drinks from today, the money came from the Cardano treasury for us to be able to buy food and drinks and rent the space. So every year, Intersect helps the community come up with a budget. There's usually something called a net change limit. You can forget it now that I've said it. But basically it says this is the maximum amount of money Cardano can spend this year. So then Intersect has a process where if you want to build something that's related to the Cardano roadmap and the vision, there's a document you have to read that tells you what Cardano is trying to focus on for the next 5 years. If you have any kind of ideas that goes with that 5-year plan, you can submit a proposal. And Intersect makes it possible so you don't have to go through the complicated process of asking the money from the treasury directly. You can just fill up a normal website, put in your address, ask all the questions they're wanting to know, and then submit the proposal, and it's going to go through this whole process. That website has the process and what all the steps are. And at the end of the process, if your proposal gets enough vote, you actually get the money, and someone's going to be checking on you to make sure you actually do the work. You get the money by milestones. So that process has just started. So if you have a company or you're a developer or you've been in Cardano for a while, you have an idea that supports the Cardano 2030 vision, that document, you can sort of look at it and see if it's something you want to put a lot of time into. Maybe you want to focus on it full time for 6 months or something, and you can ask for some money to help you do that. And I've mentioned there's a form, they, all of this, the entire process is not powered by a foundation or, a board of 7 old white men or something like that. All of it is processed by the entire Cardano community. When you're in Cardano, you get a chance really to participate and actually change Cardano. Intersect's been the one managing the process, but even non-Intersect members just showing up to the meeting, even us here, we were part of the process that drafted the 2030 vision document that we're talking about. So everybody drafted that document. I'm going to give you an answer for one of the games later, if you remember. Generally, once any idea on how to change Cardano, or like for example, the idea to go by that 2030 document, it gets put on the chain as a proposal, and then D-reps vote on it. Delegated representatives. They are just like validators, the same way you can like pull your money together and make a validator produce more blocks. They work the same way, but now you're pulling your voting power together, and then the D-reps can vote on things, and if they pass, they become law. So that's that for all the new people. Now you know what Intersect is. The website is, if you scan a QR code, it will take you to the budget website and all the documentation, and then Intersect website is just, oh, I misspelled it. Guy, there's a C after. There should be a C right here. But good thing there's a QR code. It's Intersect NBO. If you just type in Intersect Cardano, it should come up. And then Lido Nation has a program. We're actually going to do this together in a room later. Lido Nation is my company. We are actually the one that manages this community in Kenya. We were the one who put in the proposal for us to be able to do this for a year. And we're bribing people to read articles. So There is 100 ADA giveaway every month. If you're reading the article, there's a free NFT. So nothing to buy. Midnight. Who knows what midnight is? Yes. Midnight. It's not the dark. It's not nighttime. That's not what I meant.
Midnight, from the vague information I have of it, I'm still researching about it. It's a partner chain on Cardano, focused on privacy. They just had their mini launch previously. Came to know about it from a friend who was mining it.
Nice.
On a PC here.
Yeah, exactly. It's a blockchain. It's a blockchain that's tied to Cardano. The way Cardano is set up, from the beginning, Cardano was set up for this kind of system where if you want to launch your own blockchain, like, who's going to trust you? You have to spend lots of money to convince people to trust you, right? For your chain to become popular and has value. You have to convince people to set up servers to run your chain if you want your chain to be decentralized. So Cardano has a concept of this partner chain idea. Instead of having your own validators, you can actually borrow Cardano validator for your chain, so from day one, your chain can be just as secure as Cardano. So Midnight is a partner chain. They just launched. You can read about it. They have 2 tokens. One token is actually one of the token lives on Cardano. So it's very much in the Cardano ecosystem. So you're going to hear us talk about Midnight at these meetups because they are all in one big bedroom, as we like to say in Nairobi. Back to Intersect. Also, Intersect, so the committee is like the main power of where the decisions usually are being made. Anybody can be on this committee. I've been on a committee before. I'm not right now because you guys keep me too busy. But anyone that's a member of Intersect can apply to be on a committee. And right now they're having elections. So if you're an Intersect member already, log into your portal and vote. You have until tomorrow. And then last but not least, so the thing with the Cardano treasury, it's a long process. The Intersect makes it easier of a process. But sometimes that process can just be not the exact fit for someone who's just trying to do something small or like test something. So what tends to happen, usually there is like proposals on here to create smaller grants program. So Cardano used to have something called Catalyst, and I think it's on pause right now, but I think it's coming back. They will apply, say, for 20 million, and then they will run a smaller grant program 3 to 4 times a year that you can apply for anywhere starting at 400K shillings up to, say, 1 million USD. Where up here, these guys tend to be applying for 2 million, 20 million, 80 million. So there are a bunch of these other programs. So that's another reason why even if you don't plan on applying directly, you can just follow and see who's applying, because now you might see some smaller program that's more fit for you. So these guys is one of them. So if you're building DeFi and you're looking for like traditional investment with, I don't know anything about investment, but I don't know, A round, C round, some rounds, I don't know exactly. But they are a traditional investment vehicle, and Cardano Treasury have actually given them, I don't think the 480 million is on Cardano, but Cardano contributed to that amount so they can run a fund specifically for Cardano projects. So they're looking for DeFi projects, or if you have any ideas around connecting Cardano to Bitcoin, those kinds of projects, and you have an idea for a business. So this is traditional stuff. So normal VC pitch, that kind of thing. You can scan our QR code and check it out. And when the applications come out, you can maybe go that route. Any questions? That's the update. There's a lot more, but we will just stick with 5 for today. Any questions about anything I've said so far? We're cool? Yeah. I wanted to just dig into Midnight a little bit more. I think going forward, when we do these ecosystem updates, we're just going to double click on one thing just to make sure it drives through Visuity. So Midnight, if you're thinking about maybe, can I build apps on Midnight? Can I develop on Midnight? Those kinds of things, this might be useful for you. These are the 6 kind of features Midnight tends to be pushing out there. Let's start here. This is the language that you write Midnight in. It's called Compact. It's I hope I'm not lying. It's a superset of TypeScript. So it looks like TypeScript. A lot of the same things you already know about TypeScript works, and then it had some extra things. So it should be very accessible. If I'm lying, please correct me, but I'm pretty sure I'm not lying. Am I lying? Okay, good. Peter has spent some time with it, so if you have questions, you can ask Peter. Midnight has 2 currencies. There's one called Night. This one lives on Cardano, and then there's Dust. This one lives on Midnight. And just to keep it simple, just by having Night token, you generate Dust. Night is kind of how you pay for things, and Dust is just used purely for the privacy stuff. Like it's part of how the transactions are built and all that. And then, we've talked about this already with the Dust and Night. It has 2 states. So if you've tried to build on Cardano at all, what 4 or 5-letter word, 5-letter acronym, it's an acronym, that usually comes up. That Cardano, this is, there will be a prize if someone gets this correct. Is what?
Repeat the question.
So when you're developing on Cardano, the core of Cardano is built around a 4 or 5-letter acronym thing. What is that thing? What is the core part? I don't think I'm saying the question right, but let's see if anybody knows what I'm talking about. Anybody? Yes. Before I give another hint.
UPLC or UPLC or.
Oh, you're close. So UPLC is the programming layer that converts your code into what the blockchain understands. Hint, Cardano shares this with Bitcoin. What?
Repeat it again.
What 4-letter acronym does Cardano share with Bitcoin that they are the same? Do you know, Leonard? Say it.
EXUTXO.
Oh, yeah. Yes. You had the letter mixed up, but what?
Yeah. That UTXO. Or?
Yes. Why are you guys putting the X in front? It's UTXO, unspent transaction outputs. Tell us what it is.
How will I explain it? Unspent transaction outputs, like for an instance, if it works in transaction. Maybe we are transacting, me and you, and then that which avoids double spending. I'm lacking words. The one that avoids double spending.
I'm so glad I'm not the only person who struggles for words. Before I put on my demo, let's go to our expert for the day.
Yeah, so UTXO is a form of accounting that was introduced well, it started in Bitcoin. So instead of your normal accounting where you'd have, for example, in M-Pesa, you have 200. If you send the 200, it just subtracts what you've sent. UTXO, your balances are recorded as units. You'd call them units. You can have different units broken up to make the actual balance of your wallet. So what this allows for parallel transactions, you can, for example, collect different UTXOs and send them to different accounts. So you can just see them as units of value that are attached to your address.
If I told you that I got this money directly from the Central Bank of Kenya, would you believe me? But I mean, it came from the CVKA, but I did not. What's the minister name over there now? What's his name? Patrick. Dr. Patrick, I don't know how to say that other name. But he did not hand me this cash directly. These bills probably changed hands like at least 50 times before it came to me, right? Someone had 1,000 bob. They bought something and someone gave them change. Maybe they got 50 bucks back. That's pretty much UTXO. It's kind of like how the bills work. You have these paper that can hold different values. It can hold 50, it can hold 500, it can hold, right? But now in UTXO, these papers can be made on the fly by the computer to hold whatever it needs to hold. So it's not limited to a predefined set of denominations. So on the fly, Cardano or Bitcoin can create a leaflet or a UTXO that has 10,000, right? So that's the difference between, say, a normal paper currency versus the one on the blockchain, is that any denomination can be made at any time, and that's how you account for who owns what. So every time you try to do a transaction, you have to give Cardano or Bitcoin a UTXO enough to cover the transaction. That entire UTXO is destroyed, and then new ones are created to reflect what you're trying to do. So if you're trying to send 3 people money, 4 UTXO will get created for each of the person plus your change. And each of those UTXO will have the exact value that's needed to be transacted. So that's how Cardano work, but let's see. Who are the 2 people who kind of got it correct? Yes, your UTXO. So if you want to build your app that way where you have this UTXO accounting thing, you can. But then also if you want to do an account type data storage where you, in one central location, you keep track. The nice thing with UTXO, you don't have to keep track of who has what. Like, I don't know how much he has in his pocket, although he keeps telling me nothing. I don't believe him. I don't know how much you have in your pocket, right? But we know that whatever you have, when you need to spend, you can present it as a way to validate that is the real money and that is not fake. So it makes it easy so you don't have to track everybody's balance. So there's lots of good application that works well for that way of accounting and tracking data. But then the account model lets you also track everything like a regular bank account, where one person knows who owns what, how much they spent, kind of like your M-Pesa now, right? Safaricom knows exactly what you're spending money on, if you're going to the strip club or not, and all of that. Which Mama Boga you have your lunch at, they can track all of that because all the data is one place. So if you need that kind of feature for your app, you can also build apps like that on um, on midnight. And then midnight has two ledger state. One can be public, kind of like Cardano, Ethereum, Solana, but there's also a separate different ledger that's private that people can't see unless the user that's involved in those transactions makes it possible. So if you want to build apps that has that kind of feature, like maybe you want to build a poker app, but you want to show who win, but not how much money they won, you can do stuff like that. You can show that this person win. You can even have a replay that hides all the actual money. You can just show he bet, he raised, he bet, this happened, this person win. But then all the money parts can live on the blockchain and hidden. Only to the people who are participating will be able to see. You can build apps like that using Midnight. So that is our ecosystem spotlight. Now I want to introduce a good friend of mine. He Intersect buys him coffee twice a year. So not a lot of money, but he likes doing this. I work with him. He's an engineer here in Nairobi, actually at Light Donation. He does other things I don't want to do, which is nice. But he's going to talk to us about one option for developing on Cardano. Let's welcome Mr. Titi.
Yes, so hi guys, my name is Emmanuel. I am the engineer I work with the Intersect, the member-based organization, and one of the core things we're trying to do at Intersect is make sure that Cardano is here for a long time. And some of the initiatives that we're doing to make sure that happens is trying to get developers to know what we do, trying to make developer experience smooth in Cardano. And one of the ways, or some of the ways we do this, is having developer advocates like myself coming to speak to you guys about what we're doing at Intersect, how if you're a beginner you can start. In terms of developer experience, we try to make building easier. We try to break whatever we have already created, see where things break down when newcomers are trying to build things, either vibe code. We do a lot of vibe coding because we know all of the new developers are doing it. So we try to give the AI the documentation that we have written and tell it to build a thing. Then we just figure out where it breaks. And so yeah, that's a lot of the things that I do. But I guess today I'll start off by talking a bit about opportunities, and maybe we can discuss basic smart contracts in Cardano, how they work, just to give you a feel of how actual smart contracts work in Cardano, how we use EUTXO to leverage making smart contracts native to Cardano. So yeah, the opportunities that you would find at Intersect, as I've mentioned, we are trying to make Cardano sustainable for forever, hopefully. So we try some initiatives that have been started to try and bring developers to try and contribute, and you're not going to contribute for free, so there are different pathways you can follow for you to grow as a developer, hopefully become a co-maintainers of some of the repos that we have that now run the actual node. So there are pathways you can follow. One is the paid open source model, where you can join as a community maintainer. What this entails is just helping repo maintainers just do the things that they don't want to do. Like Darlington has said, we try and find people to support the co-maintainers to do some of the community things, because we are trying to engage the community in the technology that we are building. So a community maintainer will come into the repository, make sure that issues are addressed, have a meeting with the co-maintainers to determine which issues are important. If we have PRs that have been sent, we plan on which PR should be merged first. If there's some things that the PR assignee needs to work on, that will be now the work of the community maintainer to just make sure that that whole process of involving the community and contributors from the community seamless. So that's one of the ways. And from the community maintainer, it is our wish at Intersect that you sort of grow into a role that can be a co-maintainer to that repository, which is also a different role. You can be a co-maintainer. Now this will entail now writing code, maintaining the code in case we have a hard fork and that repository needs to be updated with some details pertaining to the change that is going to be made to the network. You're the one to actually plan for that work and implement it. That is also a paid role. We have other things like bounty, bug bounties, where you get paid to solve issues on chain. So it's your work. For example, you can just try and break, for example, try submit transactions that are malformed, which happened a few months ago. Someone did submit a transaction that was malicious, which led to the chain forking, meaning that we had different chains of Cardano, but that was resolved. So yeah, things like those, you can get paid for solving issues like those. We do have others like the developer advocate. So my role also is part of this. You can get paid to just come and speak to people about Cardano, try to onboard people, to teach them how to become maintainers, let them know how they can grow into the role in Cardano. Yes, so that's one of the ways. The other ways is you can be an engineer, of course. We have a lot of people looking for engineers because we have a whole funding entity. Well, several actually. We have several entities that try to give grants or pay for things to be built. Catalyst is one of the popular ones where people can submit proposals to build specific things that are important to Cardano. If you can prove that there is a return on investment on whatever you're proposing, you can get funded to build that particular thing. And that's one of the ways where people try to hire developers who are knowledgeable in Cardano, in that ecosystem, and know the tools that are available and how to get products or build products that are useful. Intersect also sometimes does give grants. So if you're a member of Intersect, there is a tier that allows you to apply for grants, and if you're selected, that's another way of earning. We have Pragma. Pragma, it's not really, what Pragma does, it tries to get tools from the community that they can support. So this is one of the ways. If you're a builder who has been here for some time, you've built an important product, this is one of the ways you can sustain yourself. You can get funded to continue building on Cardano. So yeah, I don't know if I'm forgetting anything. I guess that's all in terms of, there are others, of course, that I'm sure I've forgotten, but if you have a specific way you want to approach this, or you have a specific thing in mind that you are looking forward to, you can just try and find me, and I think I'll be able to point you in the right direction. Okay. So I guess we can just discuss. Okay, so smart contracts, that's what I was just planning to discuss. I'm not going to get too technical, but hopefully in the future once we have people who have interest in getting deeper into smart contracts, we can find a way to maybe tackle this as a community. But today I'll just try to create a mental model for you to understand why we keep saying that EUTXOs are better from UTXOs and why it's important that we have EUTXOs in Cardano. So smart contracts is one of the benefits that come with Cardano using EUTXOs, and I'll try to explain how. So yeah, what are smart contracts? So smart contracts are just functions that will determine if a transaction will be accepted on chain or not. So it's a function that just returns true or false. Yeah, I can go to the next slide just to give some more components to what a smart contract is, and maybe we can understand more. So yeah, you can break down a smart contracts into these three things. There's the input. So if you are trying to, let's use an example to make things easier. So for example, I want to write a contract that determines who can spend some money. Sindio? You can write the contract, the logic, so it checks. For example, you can check who has signed this transaction. So if I'm the owner, I have to sign that transaction so that the money can be spent. So in order for this contract to operate, I need to give it an input. In this case, it will be the signed transaction. So that is the input that I'll pass to my contract. Then my contract will pass the inputs to the logic, which checks if my signing key is inside that transaction. Then it will give us the outputs. So yes or no, so true or false. True if it finds my signing key in that transaction, false if it doesn't. So this is the simple, a simple way to just describe what a smart contract is. Let's see if we can dig into that. Yeah, so an analogy would be like a bouncer in a club. Not the normal clubs, the exclusive clubs that are super weird, where a 26-year-old is allowed, and for example, a 20-year-old is not allowed. I don't know what the reason would be, because they're both adults. I don't know what a 26-year-old can stay through that a 20-year-old cannot. But yeah, that could be one of the logics that they are using in a smart contract. So is this individual 20 or 26? If it's less than 26, you can get in, but if you're 20, but if you're 26, then you can get into the club. So this is just an analogy you can use. Yes, so EUTXOs. So we've had, we have tried to touch on that a little bit. So I'll just explain what extended means. So we know UTXOs was there in Bitcoin, but it was limited such that you couldn't do anything else other than spend that UTXO. But now, extending it, we added some functionality in Cardano that allowed us to attach scripts or contracts to UTXO, meaning we can determine how that particular UTXO, we can determine if that particular UTXO can be spent. So that's what we mean by extended UTXO. I can also try and show you other things that you can have in an UTXO. Yeah, so this is an example of a wallet. This is my list of UTXOs. So as you can see, the balance, yes, is 7,000, but this 7,000 is divided into different. How we identify UTXOs, we use the transaction hash of how this UTXO was created. So this transaction created this UTXO, then the hash, exact point where that particular unit is found. So this is how we identify UTXO. So the hash and the index in that set of array. So you can have different things, as you can see. We have the ADA. You can also have NFTs inside the UTXO. Let me see if I can find one with a contract, a touched. Yeah, so as you can see here, this is also another UTXO with a script, a Bluetooth script that has been attached to that UTXO. So there are different things you can have in a UTXO, which now give it more functionality. So we just rather than just being able to spend it, you can also program it how you'd want to spend it, or to whom you'd want to spend it. So yeah, that's what EUTXO has allowed us to achieve. Let's go back here. Yes, so once you have your contract, where does it actually live? Yeah, so say, for example, we have a contract where we want to lock funds. For example, let's say a Chama. Let's use a Chama as a good example. We are all in a Chama where we have 2 admins. These admins are the 2 wallets that can sign for money to be moved in a Chama. So you create the logic that will now check if these 2 admins have signed a transaction. The logic will be the smart contract, and now the smart contract itself can be used to generate a unique address, a unique script address. That address is where now you send the actual funds that you're going to lock. So none of us in the Chama will be holding those funds. All we'll have is signing keys that can unlock those funds in the script address that has been generated from our smart contract. So once you write the smart contract, you can generate an address from that smart contract, and that will be the destination where the funds will be sent. So we'll all pull our funds together and send it to that address. Now, to unlock the funds in that address, only the 2 admins that we chose, and we have stated that in the contract that only these admins are the ones who can unlock it. So that is an example of a contract. We write a contract, we say, expect signatures from these 2 addresses, and then we compile that contract, generate an address from that contract, then send funds to that contract. So that's where the contract sort of stays. We lock the money in that contract. Then when we want to unlock the cash, we create a transaction. We reference to this smart contract. Then we have 2 admins signing the contract. Then once the blockchain tries to validate this transaction, it will see that we have those admins signing the contract. Then the money can be moved from that contract address. So I don't know if that raises any questions or confusions. Okay, I guess we're good. Yeah, so what I've just stated, so we write the contract, create the contract address, then from there we can send the money from our own wallet, then the funds are locked. And to unlock it, we'll just need the signing keys that we stated in our smart contract. Yeah, so the unlocking funds. We just try to spend. We don't necessarily call the contract. We just try to spend whatever the contract has. Yeah, so we just create a transaction trying to spend the UTXOs in that specified contract. Then the contract will just validate if that transaction can go through. Yeah, so the wallet, you send cash to the contract. Then the wallet determines who can spend, and then the smart contract just makes sure no one can break into it and get the funds. So yeah, this is super simple. Yeah, so one of the ways of writing smart contracts, now that we know what it is, because it has sort of a better dev experience compared to the other languages, because as you know, Cardano was built by mostly researchers and mathematicians, so they didn't have time, I guess, to think about developer experience. So most of the languages that we use are languages that you'd find in research papers being used in mathematical research and all that. So ICANN is a modern language that has been recently created to make the experience of making smart contracts in Cardano a bit easier. It does compile to the final, I've heard you mention UPLC, the final format that now the blockchain will understand. ICANN compiles to UPLC, then sends your logic to the blockchain. Now the blockchain can understand it. That's how all languages for writing smart contracts, because every language just compiles to UPLC, the final format that the blockchain can understand. So the benefits of this, ICANN, it compiles really fast. It is super type safe. The syntax is very readable. They've tried to make it a bit similar to Rust or Elm. If you've seen Rust code, ICANN will seem very familiar. And also great tooling. They have great documentation. You can just read the documentation. It's super easy to understand lots of what you expect in a transaction. And then the context will know how the transaction itself, whatever I've just mentioned, then you just iterate to find the signers that you need for that particular transaction to go through. So yeah, the datum has the owner, the signatories, the people who have signed. Then if you have the signature you want. Yeah, so once you've made the smart contract, you can use it. So once you've made it, you compile it into a script. Then you just use it in, for example, one of the SDKs we use to build for the front end. Mesh.js is one of the popular ones. So you can just build a transaction, attach your script here, and then sign that transaction. Then it will go and validate if the transaction can be submitted. So this is one of the ways you can do it. Other people, if you have a smart contract, because attaching smart contracts to a transaction sort of makes it a bit more expensive because the size now becomes bigger. One of the ways to reduce the amount of money or the transaction fees is to send this script into another transaction and just reference the script instead of attaching the script into the actual transaction. We can discuss about this later, so not to confuse you. Yeah. But this is how, once you have the script compiled to SIBO format, you can just come and use it in the front end. So it's super simple. We try to make smart contract writing super simple so we can have a lot of people trying to do things and break things. Yeah, so this is just the final flow. So we have the front end, say React, then you have your browser wallet, then the blockchain, which is now the final place, and then the contract that lives on the blockchain. So this is what determines if the transaction can go through or not. Yes, so the different things you can now build now that you have the smart contract. You can have an escrow where two people can come together, send money, and lock funds, and determine a logic that will determine if the funds can be spent. We can use it in voting. We can use it in payments. We also use it in treasury withdrawals. Yeah, we use it in treasury withdrawals as well. So yeah, there are a lot of things you can build. What I've shown is just a demo of the simple thing you can do, but there are a lot of things that you can do. Yeah, DEXs I think also use smart contracts. There's a lot of things you can do with smart contracts. Yeah, so I guess that's the end of my presentation. Any questions, concerns, confessions? Yes, confession? Yeah, so in order for a transaction to complete, if it's not a smart contract transaction, if it's just normal transaction, you have to have enough money to send the value you're sending and enough to pay for the fees. So probably you don't have enough to cater for the fees, might be one of the reasons it might fail. Yes. Yes, if you can find a logic that fits that use case, yes. Do you have something in mind?
I have an idea for, normally I'm in construction actually. I wanted to venture to programming for something I have specifically.
Yeah.
So, like in construction, there's usually a program of works, then there's a system of payment. I'm working on a way you can join them but still have a validated system of payment which works both ways and very safe for anyone.
Yeah, you surely can. Yeah, of course, so long as you have a way that determines if once this is done, then the payments can go through. So that's the whole idea. Just have a logic that checks if for example, you have a hardware is going to deliver some cement, you have a way of checking that cement has actually been delivered. Once you can verify cement is there, then trigger the transaction.
So Cardano can help with that?
Yeah, it can, and it's super easy for you to start and build.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Any other questions? Mm-hmm. I have no idea actually. I should check. Yeah, I should check. Any other questions? Okay.
Well, thank you, TT. Let's give the man a round of applause. We've been Cardano Hub Nairobi have been working with these guys to do some videos. As you can see, that's my silly smile there, and this is TT's best friend. I'm pretty sure their mothers knew each other. Maybe I'm making that up. But we did have an episode on smart contract. So, Blockchain Center, NBO, please subscribe to the channel. A bunch of videos going to be coming up. We just did a video with Avalanche. So, it's not just Cardano content too. And then we plan to do a video with Cursor and Claude people. So, that's a good channel to subscribe to.
So yeah, I forgot to mention one thing. We usually host weekly meetings. We call them developer experience working groups. This is where we try and tackle different issues that pertain to developer experience in terms of onboarding new people, showing them where to go, showing them the different tools that exist, how to use the different tools, things that you may encounter if you're a beginner, opportunities that are there for people who are experienced or beginner. So you can always come to this website. These are the different times. So each week we usually have a meeting. If this week was Thursday, next week will be Wednesday at different times. Like today's session is starting in 19 minutes. So we have a session today, we have another session next week. So if you have any questions or want to start working your way up to the opportunities that I've mentioned, this is the best place to just come and have people who you can always DM and talk to. Myself, I'll also be on one of those calls. I usually host the Wednesday calls, so you can find me every other Wednesday. I guess when you skip 1 week, the next Wednesday. Yeah, so that's all.
Thank you very much. Le dope kabisa. That's me bringing French into Swahili. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to become a thing, but hey, those guys do it in, where is it? Congo? Where did they do the French Swahili thing? We are going to do some community spotlight. So if you're building anything, tell us about it. We would love for you to, on a future meetup, share with the whole room what it is you're building. Today we have two presenters. One human is building a really cool app, and the other two girl humans are doing a thing with girls, I guess. Girls are doing things. Have you heard this, of girls doing things? It's happening. Where are the girls? They were just seated there. The girls are doing things. Okay, let's start with Mr. Eden. Welcome. While the ladies get here, I know they say ladies first, but I guess today ladies last. Let's give Eden a little. Eden participated in the Cardano Africa Tech Summit Hackathon, and I think that's where this idea started. Maybe not. You can correct me. But Karebo.
Okay, so about where the idea started. It's not actually the hackathon. It started as my, let's say, my final year university project. But it has actually changed a lot since then. You upload the pin, and then users on the other side can get to view what you have done. So on the other side, users will see the map. So for example, if it's a fire outbreak, they will see a red pin. And on clicking the pin, they can see the exact place where it's happening, the current state of the situation, and yeah, what they can do to help. Organizations, on the other hand, they could do all the things that the users could do, but they could also upload articles, they could upload blogs, and normal users could register as volunteers. For example, if you are a finance expert and there's an organization needing a person in finance, you can actually submit your interest in volunteering or a working partnership with the organization. So that was it for my, let's say, for my university project, my final year project. But when it came to the hackathon, of course, blockchain had to be involved in the development process. So I came up with the app. It's called Canopy. It's a mobile application called Canopy. And it has, during the hackathon, it had 3 layers, but as now it has 4. You realize that the more you work on a project and the more you meet new people, the scope changes. You get to understand your project even more. You get to find loopholes in your project. I was actually very, let's say, I was not a person who used to talk about what I'm doing. But I realized that by talking to very many different people, you get to understand your project even more. You get to understand all the loopholes that you can find in your project. And you get to improve it in a way that will function for all the people who are going to use it. So Canopy, the 3 platforms that Canopy has. First, the community platform. So it's the same one as the, let's say, it has not changed a lot from what the project I submitted from my school was. So it's basically, so instead of just submitting incidents, we submit impact events. For example, cleanups, school upgradings, renovations, and things like that. So when you submit an event, you take the photos, you upload how does this place look before, and how does this place look after you do something. And it's not just for a simple cleaning event or a simple event like, let's say, a school renovation. We are focusing more on transformation, since we believe that transformation is what drives community forward, not just single events that happen and are not tracked or let's say, brought together in a collaborative way. For example, in Kibera, we have very many different NGOs. We have very many different NGOs which work in the trash collection sector. So you find that it's not only NGOs which work in the trash collection sector. You also find individual users. We have the government. We have collectors. We have the street kids who work on this. But since there's no platform, or let's say there's no collaboration between these people, you find that the slum will always remain the same. The dump site will always be filled. The streets will always be, let's say, dirty, from my point of view. But it's not a problem of effort or impact. It's a problem of collaboration for collective impact. So the platform brings together all these people who are doing this, from individual collectors of plastics to organizations dealing with cleanups and transformations, to the collectors who transform these things from raw plastic, raw waste to, from raw waste to something meaningful, something which can actually be sold. And that's where the marketplace comes in. But before going to the marketplace, the community platform will also include the map. It will include an events page. Organizations can post about events they are having, and you as a user can decide to join this event. For example, if an organization is holding a cleanup in a certain area, you can see the amount of people they want, you can see the location, you can see the images of that place, and you as a normal user can apply to join that event. And all these events are also mapped in the community map. The community map will contain events. It contains location of various amenities like water points, toilets, and anything else you can think of. Then, the marketplace. The marketplace is a place for not only artisans. At first, it was supposed to be only a marketplace for recycling. There are items which are being recycled every day from plastic, and for example, we have plastic pavers, the ones for the roads. They are actually better than concrete. We have things like tote bags, we have handbags made from recycled waste. So the marketplace enables people who are actually dealing with transforming waste into useful products to sell their products, not just locally, but also in a global market. But I realized that there are also people who are in the creative industry. For example, people who make things like, let's say, bangles, something like art. These are people who are in the creative industry. People in the creative industry do not only use their time. They put a lot of effort into the work they do. They put effort, they put time, their creativity. And for these people, if their story is not told the right way, they get undervalued for the work they do. For example, you can see a woman preparing a kiondo for 10 days, end up selling the same thing for 500 shillings. The person who buys it for 500 shillings ends up selling it to another person for 10,000 shillings. So you see, the person who has placed the effort, the time, the creativity to actually come up with these things ends up with nothing. Since they do not know how to express themselves, they do not know how to approach the right people for the right products. So the marketplace enables them to tell the story of the things they're creating. It enables them to meet potential customers from all over the world. Yeah. Then the third layer is, let's say, an impact verification platform. So this is where Cardano comes in. So I think maybe this will be another thing. There's something called tokenization. Tokenization is simply turning a real world asset into a digital resource. For example, I think you've heard of plastic credits or carbon credits. So let me just use the example of carbon credits. So for every amount of carbon you erase for a certain amount of carbon that you remove from the atmosphere, it doesn't matter, maybe it's planting trees or active removal of carbon, you get paid a certain amount. So the same thing can be applied to, the same thing with the addition of blockchain can be applied to impact. So I find that carbon credits have been tokenized such that they can be bought as digital assets. So impact can also be done with this. Impact can also be done the same way carbon credits have also been tokenized. So for example, we can tokenize an impact activity like, let's say, the complete restoration of a river. So let's say we assign some certain points for this action, and then this action, for example, let's give it a name like, we tokenize it and give it a name like an impact point. Let's say impact. We say that this is an impact token or an impact point for this work that has been done on this river. And the community gets to decide how much points does this certain activity earn. And these impact points can be bought as credits or carbon, like the same way carbon credits are being bought on a tokenized platform. So there's a lot about the tokenization platform that I'm also trying to understand, but hopefully in the right place, I believe that. Then, the last platform is, so during the hackathon, I realized that as Kenyans, let's say in terms of culture, it's like culture is actually being eroded here in Kenya. For example, during the hackathon, I met people from Nigeria, from Ghana. They were wearing their own clothes from their home. I don't even know their names. I forgot their names. Let's say the cultural hats, the cultural clothing. But you realize that for them, the clothes is not just a means of dressing. It's also a means of preserving their cultures. These people know from the patterns on their clothes to the way they dress, everything has meaning. But I was looking at myself, and let's say I can't even speak my own mother tongue fluently. And I'm sure it's not a problem with me only. Most of the people who are born here in Nairobi actually can't speak their mother tongue fluently. So the problem of culture does not only fall on language, it falls on dressing, it falls on food. It comes to how we dress, how we talk, the music. So the fourth platform on Canopy is like a cultural platform, built for communities, by communities, for communities. So community members get to decide the part of the culture that they want to put outside there. We have different cultures in Kenya, we have different cultures in Africa, but you realize that the structures surrounding culture are the same everywhere. For example, in Kenya, if you want to start with culture, you'll start with tribes. We'll find food, we'll find animals, we'll find activities that these cultures do. We find clothes and everything that defines the culture. So the community platform has a model that enables users from any cultural community to document their culture. So it doesn't matter if you are a Turkana living in Turkana or a Luya living here in Nairobi. You have the opportunity to document your culture in your own way. But the community has to accept that whatever you have put or whatever you have described as their culture is true and actually factual. We also understand that in culture there can be conflicting stories about different things. So we have a feature that enables people to actually vote on which version of the story is actually correct. Okay. So we can have both versions of a story online as long as enough people have voted that both these versions can be accepted as factual, or in situations where we find that there's no significant difference in the two different stories that have been posted. Okay. So the four different versions, the four different platforms are all in the same mobile application. So the mobile application will have three different types of users: normal users, organization representatives, and people who are participating in the marketplace. So as a normal user, you are not limited. You can also be a person who represents an organization, and you can also be a person who works in the marketplace. So we have three different screens, three different screens for the three different types of users, but they all have the same functionalities of a normal community user. So think of Canopy as a platform that is meant for the community. We are bringing the community together to do impactful things and documenting them at the same time. We are also encouraging people in the creative space, creative handwork space, to keep on, let's say, to keep on doing what they have been doing, but with in addition of telling their stories in an efficient way that enables them to earn in a way that reflects the amount of effort that they have put in their work. I would also like to say that the application is almost done. It's just a few blockchain additions that need to be added, and it will be complete. And for any updates on the application, you can find it on our LinkedIn page. It's called Canopy. And then it's called Canopy, and it doesn't have a lot of posts, just one post and a few followers. But there'll be a lot to be coming from today. So does anyone have any question about it?
Thanks, Eden, for his time. Okay, next, the ladies are doing something. I don't know what they're doing, but they're going to tell us about it. Let's welcome Lady Catherine. Is it just you? Or is Sawa coming too? She's hiding. Yeah. Sawa.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Catherine Tumba, and I really appreciate you guys for coming. And I'm so happy that I can see a few ladies, not more, but a few of them, and that's really nice. Okay, so we've started a community called Ada Sisters, where we empower women to build on Cardano. Wow. So the reason why personally I decided to start a community to empower women to build on Web3 and the Cardano ecosystem is because of a personal story, I'd say. Well, I've grown up seeing women struggle, not because they cannot do it, but because they do not have the right access to resources and to people who can actually help them succeed in something that they want to. So when I met a great person, Darlington. Yes, actually this guy is my mentor. Yeah, I spoke to him about it and was like, go for it, it can happen. And I encourage your sister, your friend, your girlfriend to join Ada Sisters, because we are helping women to, they're learning about the Cardano ecosystem and also building in it. Your sister might be the next founder of a startup, your sister might be the next founder of a community, or they can be funded to do something in the community as well. So we really appreciate you for everything. These are our social pages for now. We have X, and we also have Instagram. You can scan the QR code and join our community as well. We normally host our space on X. We will be having one tomorrow to just educate them on Cardano, and also midnight soon. Thank you so much. Anybody who has a question or a compliment? All right, thank you. I hope to collaborate with you and work together.
So next time your lady, whatever, complains about guys hitting on her at meetups, tell her about Ada Sisters. There's no guys there. We're going to skip this because I don't see a lot of members in the crowd. But we are going to do this, and then we're going to play a game. There will be prizes for the top 2 winning teams. And then also, by the way, the first 5 people that arrived today will also get some ADA. So head in, we'll be following up with you on that. What I would like you guys to do is scan the QR code and go to this website. Everybody, please, 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 scan the QR code, go to this website. We're just going to take a quick look at it, and then this is something you can do from time to time. I'll let you guys finish scanning. Let's see if I can copy the link. Okay, hopefully everyone has it open. Let me open it as well. As I mentioned earlier, Lido Nation is where I do my professional work. We do software engineering and also a lot of blockchain education work, like these meetups. And every week, about once a week, we publish a new article. So as you can see, I just published one on what happens sometimes where your wallet says you have a certain balance, but you can only spend a smaller amount. It won't let you spend the entire balance. So this article just walks through what the different scenarios could be for why that might be happening. This first one talks about what happens on Cardano, and then there's going to be a part 2 that talks about Solana and Bitcoin. But the goal, the QR code you scan should have taken you to this page that tells you about the program. Basically, in a nutshell, what it is, there are some articles that's going to be published. When they are published, let me see if I can find one of them. They're going to come with the option for you to mint a free NFT. Okay, this is one of them. For example, the internet is being slow. So some articles will have this little thing next to it. As you can see, this one, 14 of the 50 NFTs has been minted. Not every article has this, but if you keep reading the content, you will see a bunch of articles will have this. You will need a Cardano wallet that has, actually you need a Cardano wallet. It doesn't have to have any ADA in it. And you can mint the NFT for free. And then we have a challenge for you. In addition to minting the NFT, if you go ahead and post on X with the image of your NFT that you won, and then a short comment about the article, you will get a chance to win 100 ADA, and we pick someone every month. So this is going to be happening every month. We'll give out 100 ADA for like the next 12 months. So, those who want to. Who has a Cardano wallet already on their phones? Okay, great. I want you to open that wallet. I want to guess is Vesper? Maybe, yes? Vesper? Or what wallet is it? Who has the wallet on their phone? It has the ability to browse websites. Senor? Yeah, so just help. I want you to go to the wallet and then just copy the address, or just go to lighternation.com inside the wallet so the website can be able to detect your wallet. And then I want you to